Dan Le Batard.
I heard that as a woman faking pain. I didn't think that sounded real. I really didn't, you know.
It was not fake. It was in no way fake.
Yeah.
You can spot a woman faking it?
Stugotz.
Yes, I can, Jess.
Expert.
I've been married 40 years.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I love the rejoins. I love the look on Jessica's face as she realized she was an unwitting pawn in one of the most obvious setups ever.
Mm-hmm.
Unwitting pawn. I'm the one that set up the joke.
Moving on.
You want to hear the rejoin again? I mean,
no, she's right. I thought about it.
I know she's right. She
I heard
knew
the
she.
hiccups, and I'm pissed back here.
Whoa,
Really?
Whoa.
Hold your breath. Swallow 3 times.
Oh,
okay?
Jesus!
Yeah, there you
Or
go,
that.
Chris.
Or that. Or that.
That's how you do it.
Chris scared her.
That actually might have worked.
That's how you do it. And it was done perfectly because it was right in the middle of Stugotz giving his bullshit advice.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying, like.
Well, she just hiccuped again.
It
so
didn't
I
work.
mean,
Damn.
Do you do that
Okay.
to your daughter? Like you just lunge
That
at
was
her?
scary.
I have done that before to my daughter,
Absolutely.
actually.
Try this. Hold your breath and swallow
Scared
3
her.
times. Okay? I am telling you it works every time. Telling you.
86% of the time.
It works 100% of the time.
Scaring my daughter is one of my. I enjoy that.
Oh, all the time.
One of my big things is, it's bedtime, and so as we're starting to walk up the stairs, I sprint ahead of her, and then I go into her room, and so I'm
And
like,
behind the
am
door?
Am I behind the door? Am I
Yeah.
in the closet? And then she looks for me, and then I pop out and I scare.
I do that when we come back from outside, park the car in the garage, and I get out the car real fast, and then I get on the other side, and then as they're walking up the stairs or something, "Ah!"
Child fear.
Yes.
Cheer.
I feel like that's a building block, right? To a great character is someone startling the out of you.
Zagak.
Right?
That was quite the hiccup right there.
I'm telling you, like, the reason that I'm so annoyed right now is because when I get the hiccups, I have the hiccups for a very long. Jesus Christ, I don't like this.
Yo, it's very.
Did you try my method? Did you try my method?
It didn't work.
It's 4 times.
Okay.
That's what it was. Wait, what day is it? No, it doesn't work on
Wait, what's the
Tuesdays.
temperature? What's the temperature? It's 88. Too
Not
warm.
whistling weather.
Too warm.
Like, sometimes I'll be in bed at night and, like, Lee and I will be, like, talking, and then he'll make a joke and I'll start laughing. And then I get the hiccups, and then he's like, oh, like, the whole night's, like, it's over. Like, you're going to be hiccuping for the next 6 hours. We're never going to fall asleep.
You have a very frequent hiccup. Usually mine, the gap is so long that
You think they're gone.
Maybe they're gone, and then look, no, still here. Yours are like a cartoon character.
No, they're, like, super aggressive, and, like, my entire body, like, hiccups.
Convulses. You're like a cartoon character.
See?
Like in the cartoons, especially when
I'm
they're
not, like,
drunk.
doing that on
You guys ever
purpose.
remember
It's on
that?
right now.
Is that a 20 CB thing? Is that when in the cartoons, if you're drunk, you hiccup? I said, you gotta, that's how the
Dumbo.
cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dumbo.
That first
Yes.
sip of Coca-Cola always does it for me.
Yeah. That's if you drink it too fast. See, that's what
Really?
it means. Yeah. Because there's an air pocket in there. And
I always
that's-
choke on the first sip. Always.
Why, you go in too hard? Like
I'm
too
like
fa-
the Tom Brady
Right.
of doing that. Every time I take a sip of anything, especially if I'm really thirsty, I'm going to be coughing for a little bit. Give me time.
I want to ask you guys a question because I think we're all in a situation where no one here lives alone, right? Everyone's got someone that they live with. And every once in a while, you're going to the store and they say, hey, bring back this from the store. And you say, fine. And then you get the inevitable text of, oh, and also this. I think my biggest pet peeve is getting that text after I've left the store.
Oh, the worst.
What do you do? I get it all the time. Yeah.
You
go
say
back?
You just text and say I already left.
And I say I'm almost home. Sometimes I'll have just checked out.
What if it's your fault though? What if you texted, "Do you need something?" and you just didn't look at your phone again until you got in the car, but the text was sent right away?
No, I'm talking about the text was sent after the shopping experience has ended.
What if you're in line, though? You're saying you've left the store already.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're in line, though?
Do you ever do the mid scanning items? Like I'm gonna go get one more thing, and there's people waiting, and you're
no,
sprinting.
Dangerous
don't do
game.
that.
So you're up next, right? And there's a
Mm-hmm.
long line behind you, and your significant other says, hey, I need this.
If I'm
I
having
already paid.
tacos and I forgot sour cream, I don't care who's behind me. I'm running back to get that.
You're the
sour
worst
cream.
This is
person
what you
on
do.
earth.
It depends on how many items you have.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a shit ton of items, I start loading them on the conveyor belt, and then I sprint back to go get the thing.
You have time, yes.
Yeah, but if
Right.
all I had was milk and like, oh, the sour cream, I'm not gonna.
What if the item is near the chart?
Good
That
question.
works, actually.
This
Yeah.
is a valid point. Like if it's the aisle right closest to you, then I got time.
Yeah,
3 hops. That's the rule.
Yeah, really.
You can hop on one foot 3 times, or foot, opposite foot, original foot again. If you could
close.
triple jump to the item, you're fine.
I love triple jump.
Underrated sport.
Do you have
did
to
it when I
triple
was a
jump
kid.
back or?
You don't have to, but it's
Right.
You
encouraged.
can long jump back.
You know what I hate is these like cheap bags of chips in like I don't like anything. My daughter's always like, can I in like the conveyor belt, right? Over the conveyor belt.
The impulse buy
They
section.
got the chips, they
Yeah.
got the gum, they got the
candy.
magazines.
Dude.
My
Yeah.
daughter's always wanting this stuff.
I don't
That's the point.
like
I know,
candy.
and I tell her no.
I don't like candy, right? I'm
you
not a
attack her.
candy person. But for some reason, those impulse buy candies, they've never looked better, man. Right there, the Kit Kat, like the Reese's peanut butter cups, all of them, they're like, hey, big boy. And I'm like, oh.
That's what it's like going to Ulta because they have a mini version of all the fancy makeup by the checkout. And for some reason, you can convince yourself.
I thought you were cured.
God damn it.
We're gonna check in with. We forgot about him.
Oh,
Greg
yeah.
Cote. He's trying out for the Golden Oldies next.
Holy Stugotz.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. This is actually happening. Greg Cote, for those who don't know, we sent Greg Cote to the Golden Oldies tryouts for the Miami Heat elderly people dance team.
Yep, which happens to be at the place where I had Rosh Hashanah dinner.
Yeah, we got Jeremy Taché live on location with Greg Cote. Jeremy, what is this venue?
This is unbelievable, guys. This is the Southwest Focal Point Senior Center in Pembroke Pines. It is
Next to your
full.
Suey's.
The parking was unbelievable. We all had to park on the grass because there were so many people here auditioning today for the Golden Oldies. I was told that between 100 and 150 people over the age of 60 years old will be auditioning for the Golden Oldies today. Greg here being one of them. He's about to have a private dance lesson with the coach to be able to be sure that he's ready and prepared. Greg, how are you feeling about everything that's going on today?
I'm as excited as I can possibly be. I really am. It's just a thrill. I feel young.
I thought
I
you-
look
do you-
around, I'm like, I'm not that old.
Do you want to make this team?
So, no, it's good.
I think he does. I think that what's happened here is he had no interest, and then the moment he showed up and felt as young as he looks in this group with the athleticism that he was showing off. We were in a back room before, and he was doing high leg kicks. He was doing dances like this right here. I mean, I think Greg is ready and excited. He's a performer at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. Not at the beginning, but just at the end of the day, I'm
Right.
a performer.
Well,
That's
luckily
true.
there it is
But
the
this
end of the
like
day.
noon,
I
so-
mean,
Yes.
Dinner will be served in the next 30 minutes. It's true. We'll have the early bird special will be coming in soon, guys.
I don't love
right.
this.
But this is
thing.
going to be great. I mean, if you guys want to follow with us, I mean, we could show you what this place is looking like.
well, hold on a
Do you want
second.
to see what this
Hold-
room looks like?
Hold on a second, because Billy has an objection, and I think I agree with it.
Yeah, like I don't love the fact that Greg just kind of strolls in. He gets a private lesson with the coach, who's, I assume is going to be making some decisions on cuts and whatnot. He has a camera crew. Like Greg's a big city slicker that's coming into this small town, and he's going to take someone's spot, which I'm not a fan of.
You know, you would think that it was because of the Dan Le Batard Show and all the cameras that Greg was famous, but actually I've heard 3 or 4 different people in here say, hey, is that Greg Cote of the Hee Haw 3?
Yes.
I couldn't believe
There
it.
you go.
They really remember him
No one said
from
that.
the old days. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm in favor of special treatment. I really am. I think I deserve it. And, I'm the kind of guy who cuts in line when possible. That kind of thing.
The face
Yeah.
of entitlement, ladies and gentlemen, Greg Cote. All right, Jeremy, go ahead and walk us into this
You wanna take a
venue.
tour?
Let's see what we've got going on.
Let's do this. All right, so we've got folks in here. We've got members of the Heat dance team welcoming everyone in. Hello, hello. And now this is what we've got going on in the auditions for the Golden Oldies. Look at all of these folks who are ready here for the Golden Oldies. It's really spectacular. I can't believe the ability that this group has, this organization, to bring in so many talented dancers. If you focus on it, Danny, if you want to focus in right over here, a lot of the folks at the front, they're the people who made the team last year. But you know what's not going to happen? Any sort of gifts to those folks. They have to audition again. So no matter whether they were on the team last year, they're on the team this year, everybody has to audition again. Everybody needs to get prepared. There's going to be, I believe, 15 to 20 second long freestyle dances. There's going to be coordinated dances throughout the day. We're going to make sure that Greg is ready. I believe right now he's signing his waiver
There
as
it
we
is.
speak.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, a moment
So
in
Greg
history.
Cote is getting ready to go.
What's the date?
What is the date?
That always happens to
The
me.
27th.
27th.
Greg, Jeremy, are these
big
jailhouse rules? Like, does Greg have to go in and punch someone right away to kind of establish his dominance in this situation?
I don't think so, although he looks ready to be
Greg,
the prize
do it. Go
fighter
punch
in this
someone.
situation.
I dare you.
So,
I think
Punch one of the alums.
You
Jeremy,
gotta have the sound effect.
Jeremy, I need you to
Yeah,
confirm
guys.
something. I want to describe to
Yes.
the audio audience, as you guys are walking through and the cameraman, Danny Benitez, is panning across to the other contestants, we're getting a lot of very serious ice grills, a lot of aggressive looks from the people. Like, is there an era of intimidation happening where these people are cutthroat and they look at Greg like he's competition?
Oh, I fully believe so. These people are here ready to earn their spot on a team, no different than any other competitive team that you might find in a sport or otherwise. It's time to go find a number for Greg because these people are signing up and getting ready for what should be a really competitive day. So, Greg, you go ahead and follow me. We're going to get a number for you because, look, these folks, hello. Nice to see you. Everybody's ready. Look, we've got folks here in Heat jerseys. We've got everybody ready in black, white, or red. It's really, I mean, guys, this is competitive.
Are there any
people
other
getting
deck
ready.
shoes? Any
There's
other boat
stretching
shoes?
happen.
Any boat shoes?
You know, as I'm scanning around, I see
I
a
have not
lot more
seen any other
supportive
deck shoes.
Skechers than I see deck shoes. But if Greg had worn his other shoes that he was telling us about the last couple of weeks, maybe he would have been more prepared. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
All right, Jeremy.
This is my place, guys.
Nice
I love
to
to
see
see you.
you.
Jeremy-
Like, that's someone you know? I mean,
Of course.
I know her.
This is Homer Central for Jeremy Taché. It's so we're gonna step away. We're gonna let Greg get his number, and we're gonna check back in with you when you guys are training with the private coach.
I want to see him get the number. That's very
you?
exciting.
Right.
Yeah. Just
What
to see
number
where
you
he
got?
goes.
Oh,
Right.
251.
251. He's going to be there all day.
251
My
for
favorite
Greg.
number.
It's not a bakery. What are you talking
It's going to be
about?
spectacular.
All right. Yep.
All right, let's
He's
let-
very
we
old,
can
ma'am.
check
He
in with
needs
you guys in a
help.
bit.
let's check back in with them a
he's
little
gonna
bit
figure it
later.
I don't want to waste
So
whatever the hell these are called.
the that's a great dismount there.
That's
from
Greg talking to the only young person there.
Well, did you hear what he said at the beginning? He said he's never felt younger because there's so many people that are older than him. And I said, did we find the one place where Greg Cote is the young, energetic whippersnapper?
I think so, yeah.
That and Key West.
He
yeah.
runs that joint. I mean,
So here's my
You
question.
dropped a safety pin if you're listening on the podcast.
Now, Billy,
Is there a car on the stage?
are you okay?
Billy, I'm going to betray something that I heard you and Taylor discussing out in the main room here, which is a segment that may or may not come to life in the weeks that come. A segment called All Bias Aside. And I was wondering, how would Jeremy do in a segment called All Bias Aside? Because there was a point there where he went into full propaganda mode about the Miami Heat. We're talking about a dance team here.
Yeah.
I mean, not even for a second can he put it aside.
It was kind of weird. So the way that this happened is we're spitballing different things, talking some shop out there, talking some baseball, and the Yankees came up because every time you talk to Taylor, the Yankees are going to come up. Mm-hmm. And we were discussing now that, the leagues are both kind of playing each other all year long. Everybody's adopted the DH. Should there be multiple MVPs? Should there be an AL MVP and an NL MVP? Should there be an NL Cy Young and an AL Cy Young? Which, led to a conversation. And then, Greg is now taking a photo with his name.
Look
so
at that.
we all know.
On a
Look at that
whiteboard,
mug.
yeah. Never been happier.
We didn't need to turn the volume up.
Anyway, so we were talking about it, and he said, all bias aside, one MVP. You voting for Judge or you voting for Ohtani? It's Judge, all bias aside. He said to me while wearing a Yankees hat and a Yankees shirt.
Did he
Can't
pause?
say that without
He didn't
bias.
even. He asked me the question, and then he immediately gave the answer without even giving me a second to think about who the MVP should be.
But he did put his biases aside. All
he
of them.
said, who should be the MVP?
Right.
Ohtani or Judge? It's Judge, all bias aside.
Stugotz.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Stugotz, this feels like something that would be in your wheelhouse. The idea of asking a rhetorical question, then answering it before the other person has a chance to even begin to kind of consider it, and delivering that answer with the caveat that all biases are aside.
Yeah, you're asking a question that only has one answer.
There you
I
go.
mean, I've done that a million times.
Give me an example.
Who's better? Who's the best basketball player ever? Cut out your biases.
Okay, but aren't you supposed to answer it?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, all bias aside.
All bias aside.
Greg's
All right, we got
stretching now.
Greg is stretching with the dancing coach.
See, this is a bit unfair. I think that's what Billy was alluding to, where I don't think the other people trying out for this team, they're getting afforded the same opportunity, you know?
He's the only one I see with a private lesson, right?
Well, this is...
He's not following the
needs
lesson
it, so-
regardless.
He's teaching her the dance.
Yeah.
So this is why it's not unfair, because all these other people prepped all year long for this. Greg just found out about it today.
And he's going to make the team.
I'm already worried about his wind. Like, I'm worried he's just going to, like...
You know what we should have done? We should have sent him out there with a 6-pack of Miller Lights.
Don't be stealing my material.
He's announcing that to the entire room.
I think people might have been worried about him, and they're not anymore.
That was a sympathy clap.
It looks like we sent a larger crew with Greg than we have working here.
No, but they're worried, Chris, because Greg has cameras with him. He's got some celebrity. People are worried they're just going to give him a spot on the team. I'm telling you right now.
We got Jeremy here back. He's going to give us another update. Jeremy, what's going on?
I could not believe the amount of celebrity. Greg just danced and literally received an ovation from the crowd behind him. And I've already had 3 different people ask me, is that Greg Cote? I've seen his picture at the bottom of the Miami Herald. These people are the target audience, the target demographic.
How tired are you, Dad?
This
Greg,
is really spectacular.
How tired are you?
You know what? I feel like I've had my exercise already. I'm winded. I'm ready to go home. You know, do a couple of 12-ounce curls. But look, I'm here, man. I'm here to win it. I'm in it to win it.
I do think these people probably think he's here as a bit of a gag, and they don't realize he's genuinely competing for one of their spots. Because I've had 2 different Golden Oldies from last year walk up and say, like, oh, I'm so nervous. This is a big day for us. We're re-auditioning because they have to audition again. And I was like, yeah, we've got Greg Cote with us. That should be fun. And I don't think that they realize that he's actually here trying to take one of their spots. So once that starts, I think they're going to be upset.
Jeremy, I'll be honest with you. When you guys walked in, like I said, there were a lot of stone-faced looks from all the other competitors. But then right after Greg did his dance, Danny panned back and they were all laughing and smiling. I feel like that was a sympathy applause more than anything.
I don't know if a sympathy applause as much as, this might be Greg's crowd, guys. I think these are the type of people that are liking what they see, if you know what I mean.
Baby!
Just saying.
How many people make this team, Jeremy?
I actually don't know the answer to that. I'll find that out before the next time I report back. My assumption is somewhere between 20 and 25.
And then find out how many returners are auditioning, because then we'll know exactly how many spots are really up for grabs.
Oh, wait, you got them as rubber stamp?
I will
possibly.
Figure that out.
The politics involved. Greg, I got one last question for you before you take a little bit of a break. If you had a couple Miller Lights right now,
excited din in here, I can barely hear you guys.
All right.
Greg, if you had a couple of Miller Lights in you right now, how much more comfortable would you be in getting prepared for this?
Well, that's a fine line, though. A couple, and I'm good. I'm loose. I'm more gregarious, but 4 or 5, and I'm like tripping
so
over
some sweet spot between 2 and 4.
You gotta watch that.
Send someone to go get him some Miller Lights.
In the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, well,
we'll do that.
Billy.
After I ask your questions, I'll go get some Miller Lite for him.
Thank you. We'll check back with you guys in a little bit. This is a historic moment. I don't know.
He's making this team.
And we got it all on tape. That's the crazy thing. Like, this will live forever. We'll be able to say, remember that time Greg went out there and showed the hell out?
The vibes in that room seem incredible. Does it not just sound like the most excited chatter background noise? It
Chittering.
Sounds great. It sounds like donut Sundays after church. Like everyone's in a great mood.
I wouldn't know how to relate to that.
Back in the 90s when I went to church.
There you go. Right now you just light on fire if you walk past it, right?
I have a topic that I've been meaning to bring up on the show because I think there's someone here that has the answer to all my questions about the Oasis reunion happening. What is going on with this, Mike?
Oh, thank God. Thank you for the vine. I've been dying to talk about this since it started getting rumored, and it's so long that they've actually broken back up. No, they.
So wait, can we start at the top?
Yes. What is a Wonderwall?
Who is Oasis?
Oh.
Oasis is Wonderwall.
Yes.
Okay, that answers my
Oasis has one of the biggest songs ever in Wonderwall. They're really, and this is the reuniting of it, they're not bringing back any original members outside of the two brothers, which is fine because Oasis
Nobody cares, right?
is the two brothers.
Who are the two brothers?
Noel and Liam Gallagher.
Who, by the way, Jess, they hate each other.
They have been feuding
Why?
forever. Yes.
They hated each other. They've always hated each other.
Past tense?
They might.
There's a chance they still hate each other. They're doing
Absolutely.
it for money. I mean,
Yeah, like Guns N' Roses
Right.
really left a lot of money on the table because during their recording prime, they decided to totally break up, and now they're totally fine, and they're getting all that money that they miss out on during their peak.
Not all of it.
No, but Oasis broke up in 2009, and for many points since then, there were rumored reunions that always blew up, and Liam Gallagher and Noel Gallagher would always revel in the opportunity to dismiss any hopes whatsoever. Liam very publicly continuing their feud, never really having good things to say about one another, but the day has come where they've been able to put all that aside for now and reunite to much, much fanfare, especially across the pond.
All differences aside, which is a different segment from all biases aside. But Stugotz, if I say to you, there is no hatred that is stronger than a hatred between two siblings, can you find a hatred that's greater than that? Because I feel like for it was Axl Rose versus the other guys in Guns N' Roses, right? That feud right there. That could not come close to the fury that is two brothers who hate each other.
Right.
What does anyone know what the feud is over? Why?
They're
they
assholes.
just
Both
don't
of them
like
are assholes.
They genuinely don't like each other's company.
Yes.
And they don't, musically, they're not super compatible. They have different ideas of what direction the band should have gone in. At different times, they accuse the other person of being unprofessional when it comes to approach. So it's just always something. There isn't a patient zero when it comes to what the seeds of this rivalry has always been. They're like oil and water.
And that's why I say there's no hatred that's greater than that, even between exes, because exes can be like, he cheated on me, or she did this or whatever. When you talk about siblings, it's like there's not even like a seminal moment or an act. It's just like, I just don't like you.
It's like me with my dad. Like, he could actually be on his best behavior, and I'm just annoyed by him.
Same.
By the way, I think I was so nervous about that video thing going on with Jeremy and Greg that I held my breath for the entire segment, and my hiccups would have went.
Yeah,
I told you.
I was nervous that wasn't going to work out.
Gotcha.
But Mike, so
it worked.
Their band started when they were how old? And they were able to get along well enough to make a hit.
Yeah.
And then they broke up.
So no, they didn't just make a hit. Like they had
other
plenty
songs.
of hits.
They're not a one-hit wonder.
They
No,
were
they're
legit.
not.
Yeah, they were
they're not a
legit.
one-hit wonder wall. No, they have one of the 100 greatest albums ever made. Definitely, maybe was a monster smash. They have a lot of songs. Now, granted, they are bigger in the UK. So in our lifetime, Greg is taking group pictures right now. He really is the belle of the ball over there. I think Oasis meant, out of anyone here, Stugotz's prime, like college years and like young adulthood, Oasis.
Let my boy cook.
We're watching Greg Cote dance with some of the other contestants right now, and I thought he was going to tank it. He's coming with
not
some,
tanking it,
He's
no,
coming with some great energy right
He
now.
loves this attention.
He's in his glory.
Yeah. He's going to forget the assignment, and he's accidentally going to make the team.
Morning Glory.
Old glory.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's very difficult to talk about Oasis reuniting, which is a segment that I've wanted to do for 20 years, hopeful that the day would come, and then have Greg Cote just do incredible sight gags the entire
Mike,
time.
put a pin in it. We're going to come back, but right now we got to go to Jeremy Taché, who has an update.
I have an unbelievable update that I just found out from Coach Natalia of the Golden Oldies. Last year, there were 21 Golden Oldies. Last year, there were 21 of them.
Wow.
All 21 are back here auditioning this year, and they're only taking between 18 and 20 dancers this year. So automatically, there will be a few cut, but if they want any new blood, which every year they try to cycle in some new dancers, there will be several dancers cut this audition process. I mean, there are literally over 100 people here in this room right now. This is cutthroat, and Greg, as you guys mentioned, is the belle of the ball, but I think as soon as they realize he might take one of their spots, it might get a little intense.
Yeah, I'm getting some icy stares. There's no question about that, especially from the men, because the fewer men than women tend to make the Golden Oldies.
Right.
So, like, I'm here to take somebody's job is what they're thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
This is one of the most celebrated things that a lot of these people have going on, because how many times do you get to perform in front of tens of thousands of people, you know, and show off your dance moves? So this is getting pretty intense. I'm like, my heart is racing. I'm really nervous about this now.
Greg, you would agree the entire team returning, last year's entire team returning, is a major upset, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to have new blood.
Because they're old.
Yeah.
Well, no, because they made it back,
to.
right?
Yeah.
All of them. Right?
It is. Jeremy,
These
can
are healthy, lively, wonderful people.
Well,
okay?
No, there
Stop
is-
with this.
Jeremy,
There is natural attrition.
There should be no shaming.
can you ask
Yeah,
Coach
there's
Nat-
natural attrition.
Coach Natalia, I believe you said it was, right? Can you ask Coach Natalia, as you guys said, this is kind of a lot of their purpose is to be the Golden Oldies. Is there any concern that should you cut the Golden Oldies, you remove their purpose in life, and that could lead to, more spots opening
I'm not
up?
going to ask that question.
Okay.
Well, why not? It's something that needs to be weighed, I
Fair
believe,
question,
when
yeah.
making
Because
a decision.
it's rude, it's ageist.
No.
Jeremy,
These
what-
people are lively, wonderful, they're beautiful.
Well, they haven't been cut yet.
Oh, we're getting some testing going on.
Okay, we'll
I
check.
see
We'll
it's
check
an
back
old
in.
dance troupe, but
We'll check back with
when
you guys.
the Golden Oldies are performing, there's a hearse outside the
Okay,
arena.
that's why I try to send you guys away.
Christ, man.
That's why I try to send them away. That's exactly why, because I knew I could see the look in Greg's eyes. He wasn't going to say something.
He's just
that was
reporting
gonna-
the
He's so proud of it. Look at him.
I knew that everyone's like, Amin, just let him say his thing. I'm like, no, I know where it's going. I had a feeling deep in my bones.
So why did they choose now to get back together?
Mike.
Are we back?
Yes.
Yeah. Gallagher's. Yeah.
All right, I checked out after the death joke. I thought he was really rolling. So the reason why they're getting back, I would assume, is money. I would assume that there's a lot of money in
Of
this.
course it's
Where I was
money.
getting at, like you're probably the best person to ask how big Oasis was over here in the United States. I know they're massive
that's right.
across the pond,
You guys
but like
were all
when
young.
when you were getting out of college,
They
and
were big.
entering
Yes.
young adulthood and cruising the Grove, like Oasis was the biggest thing going.
Oasis was music I played in my Acura Integra down in Coconut Grove when I was growing up.
Integra. Woo! Stugotz is killing it down here.
Oasis is
fun.
funny to me because I do think that they're a good band. Do I think that they're a little overrated? Possibly. But Oasis wasn't really... Are they the best musicians? No. Are they the best vocalists? No. Do they have some great songs? Yes. Is every song great? No. But Oasis meant a lot to a lot of people in that it wasn't just the music. It was the aesthetic. It was the attitude. It was what they represented. We don't really have a lot of ties over here in the United States to Britpop, although a few of those bands blew up over here. And for a moment in time, Oasis was in like the conversation as one of the biggest rock bands in America. But not unlike West Coast hip hop and then the East Coast West Coast thing, not unlike boy bands, not unlike grunge or hair metal slightly before that, Britpop had an era inside these United States. Blur, and to a much larger extent here in the United States, Oasis was the key band.
So
in that moment,
a couple of things.
moment.
Number one, Blur, Oasis's big rival. The only thing that could unite the Gallaghers was Blur. They hated those bastards.
Yeah,
over
it almost
there.
got to be like you have to pick a side. And Netflix
Absolutely.
actually has a pretty good documentary on like a
On that
general
rivalry?
series on that rivalry
Oh.
on Britpop, the Britpop explosion.
Number two, Stugotz back me up on this. It's gonna sound blasphemous. It's gonna sound crazy, but when Oasis was blowing up with that album, definitely maybe, there was a moment where like this is the new age Beatles. Like this is it. This group.
I don't
were
know if
derivative.
it reached a high level. I don't know if it reached that level.
They didn't reach. I'm not saying they reached the beat. It's like imagine a player coming out and people saying, "Oh, this is the next Michael Jordan," and then that player never reaches that height because whatever happens. It was the same kind of vibe. It was like these guys are about to take over popular music, not just Britpop, but the entire popular music. They were red hot. And then because they both had personality and they were spicy, if you remember the Glastonbury Festival in the UK, which is a really big deal, Jay-Z was going to headline it one year, and was it Noel?
Do you remember when Jay-Z played Wonderwall?
Well, but that's the thing, because they said, this guy's not a musician. How could he ever play this festival? And so Jay-Z came out with a guitar and played Wonderwall and sang it poorly, and it was awesome. But the world was their oyster.
Yeah.
And then the infighting just took them all down.
Yeah, and maybe their sound, Britpop kind of died out here, and it wasn't just because Oasis kind of flamed out. They kept going, and they didn't really reach the peaks. Here in the United States, like we had a lot of regrettable genres that kind of pushed it out of the way,
like Fred Durst,
like new metal.
Yeah,
we had our moments over here, but they were still gigantic, especially in Great Britain. And you'll see in this tour, they've just announced the European legs so far of the tour, but these are stadium shows, and they'll be able to sell them out without question. It's going to be a huge demand. I do know the legend is that the Coachella founders, they make 3 asks every year when they're putting together their lineup on the off chance that bands reunite.
And they ask for this?
Number 1 is the Smiths. Number 2 is Oasis, and now more recently Daft Punk. They always put a feeler out to Daft Punk to see if Daft Punk is going to reunite. But yeah, you would assume that if Oasis is back and doing their thing, Coachella's going to kick the tires to see if they want to do it.
Who had more success as an individual act? Which one of the two brothers?
I think they were both great. There's an argument to be made that these guys are kind of better apart. Liam's actually had some really good albums recently. I'm a fan of Noel's stuff. Like their individual efforts have been so good individually that you're like, okay, well, if we're never going to see Oasis again,
we're fine.
This will suffice. But I've never had the opportunity. By the time I got really into going to live music shows, Oasis was, that wasn't a scenario that could actually be real, them getting back together.
Mike, really quick, what is a Wonderwall?
They kind of explain it throughout the entire song.
Do they?
Yeah.
All right, we're going right back to the Golden Oldies.
This is so exciting.
What happened? Yeah, what happened there?
I was going to say Golden Grannies. That's the Phoenix Suns. Golden Oldies is the Miami Heat. The tryouts has begun. Jeremy, take it away.
I mean, this is unbelievable. We've got an intense warm-up happening right now. There was just a whole speech before everything got started about, hey, don't focus too much on the numbers of how many people we're going to take. You folks have an opportunity to prove it to us that you belong on this team. And I'm just going to let you watch for a minute because Greg is getting warmed up, number 251 right here. And I mean, look at him. With all of these folks who are getting ready, it's a pretty intense moment as everybody gets warmed up.
It's really mean that they made him wear his actual age.
I know.
239
I got to
came to
tell
play.
you, 202 is making that team.
239.
202.
We saw her warming up earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
The guy with the red tank top, 239. Look at this guy.
Yeah. No, this
239 has been on the team before. No, for
off-season
info,
Santa.
He was on the team last year. So he's been preparing for this for years. He's a seasoned vet when it comes
Marlins
to the Golden Oldies. And there's a lot of folks here that have been
Greg's
here
shoulder
before.
mobility is stressing me out.
I want Greg to let him know there's some new blood in town. The new sheriff. Is this the warm-up or this
it wasn't
is the routine?
obvious by the camera crew that we've sent out. No, this is just a warm-up. They're just getting everybody nice and limber before getting ready to go because we don't want anybody pulling a hamstring or messing up a shoulder. Greg's shoulders are really kind of stressing me out a little bit.
They all signed the waiver. They're fine.
They did. Got a crazy build now that I look at him. I've never really noticed this.
Us Cody's, we're kind of awkward.
I got to tell you, 207 can go home. I mean, not making the team.
Go and let him know, Jeremy.
Yeah.
207 has been eliminated.
Yeah.
You want me to just go give him a little tap?
Yeah, go give him a tap on the shoulder. Let's start eliminating people officially.
Just me.
Yeah, head over there, Jeremy. Come on.
Tap on the shoulder.
Earn your stripes.
The America's Next Top Model thing.
I think I'm okay.
Like they disappear one of them every time someone gets eliminated. Dissolves.
I'm just worried about Greg, if I'm being honest with you guys. Everybody else looks like they've been stretching over the off season, and Greg looks
That's
kind
not
of
a stretch,
comfortable.
Greg.
He's also
Greg just
behind
pointed.
everyone else.
The woman behind
So
215 looks like
I'm
a
kinda
ringer.
concerned.
I don't think she's 60.
I agree.
That's the thing that's amazing here is there are some folks where I'm like, really, you're 60? Because the type of shape that they're in, it's really amazing.
Yeah, it went quiet at the wrong time for Jeremy.
The song change was real awkward, dude.
I love that people are
I'm
questioning
walking
other
away.
people's age there.
I want
my dad bending over.
I
It's
see
like
a
an
lot of
AAU
touching
tournament.
toes, and I do not see Greg touching toes.
Stugotz is like an AAU tournament. We're gonna have to start demanding birth certificates. Wait a second. There's no way this kid is this.
I'm
age.
not
Greg
kidding
is
you
just
guys.
waiting to come up.
This is the first time my dad has stretched in years, and that is not an
He's going to
exaggeration.
be so sore.
He's out of breath
As
already.
if you look at the rest of this group, Danny, can you pan to the rest of the group for a minute? Everyone is
boy.
touching their toes. Everybody looks comfortable. And then there's Greg. And if you go back to Greg, he can barely touch his knee. His leg is shaking. And he's just waiting to come back up from every single stretch.
Can we
He
pan
is
over the shoes that everyone is wearing in comparison to Greg's deck shoes? Because I sense another trend, which is that he's sticking out a little bit on that front.
I'm really worried about Greg's confidence after this. Because
Can
I
we
think
talk
he
to him?
came in feeling
No.
really good. I mean, If you guys have any questions, I can get in there and ask him a question.
No.
But he looks pretty locked into me.
I have a question. I want to know the last time he stretched.
All right, let me just go ahead and scoot in.
Wow. What's with the onlookers
Cody.
back there?
Hey,
They
Greg.
just aren't
Weird.
participating.
When is the last time that you stretched like this?
Never.
Great.
Never.
The 12th of never, he says.
But how is he doing? Check in on him.
I mean, okay, I'll check in again.
Guys, why
Scoot in between these
he's
people.
trying
Greg,
to lock in.
How are we doing, Greg? How are we feeling?
Sore.
Already?
This is not what I do.
Is he stuck?
This is not what I do.
Stretch, move.
Wait, is Greg not
does
wearing
look
socks?
stuck.
He's not wearing socks.
No, of course not.
I love how he's just stretching, and I'm genuinely worried about my dad right now.
All the joy that he had on his face
It is
earlier,
hilarious that this is before.
Now it's real.
it's drained out of it. The joy is gone. And
He's already regretting this. Like, this hurts. I think we got it. I'm worried about it.
Yeah,
He's going to be sore for days, guys.
It started as a cute little activation, right? Make fun of the old people, and then you realize you're the oldest one.
Yeah.
I want to make it abundantly clear, guys, that's why I was making sure that we weren't making fun of these folks, because they are spry, athletic, and everything unlike Greg Cote.
Those people stretch better than I do.
This lady is putting my dad to shame
Look at
right
this.
now.
She's a lot.
It's a real faffa.
Unbelievable comparison.
I swear that's Marlon's man back there.
it's a dance team. It's not a stretch team, Greg. So don't worry about
exactly right.
it. You got this, Greg. I believe in you.
I know,
Do not
239
see
had
the
me a little
Marlins
worried
man
getting
that
up
you're
there.
speaking of, Chris.
He had to tie his shoe.
Yeah, I don't know what's
139.
going on there.
Visually,
Yes.
just so that everybody in the audio audience can understand what's happening.
Look
here.
at
We've got
202
folks
dancing
just
during this
leaning
stretch.
each
Yeah.
way. Yeah, there are some folks that have rhythm as they're stretching, which is pretty spectacular.
They're dancers.
239 is just
Shoulders
awesome.
look
Oh, they're
like
stretchers
they're
right now,
popping
Stugotz.
out.
Yeah. Jeremy,
He's not doing that right.
do we
whatever
know
that
if he
is.
auditions? Do we know if he auditions alone or with a group?
Oh, I don't know the answer. I believe that
definitely
there's a
not the
solo
right position.
freestyle.
What is my dad doing?
not
believe
the
that
right
there's-
position.
Yeah, what is happening right now?
Stretching it.
What is he doing?
That's not it.
Just
I'm
a reminder.
genuinely concerned. What does
He
he
might
think
choke
he's supposed
himself
to be
out.
doing?
Look, you see this person right here in the heat shirt? That is not a
She's a
60-year-old.
dancer, I believe.
For the listening audience, I just want to
Right
remind
here in
them
front.
you can watch all of this on YouTube and or the DraftKings Network, because man, I know you guys like to listen, and I'm telling you, you
They're
ain't got to
Golden
watch the
Girls,
whole
right?
thing, but you want to watch this for sure, because Greg looks depleted right now. He looks
Well,
like
it's just so funny. If Danny, if we could put just Greg on screen with the two ladies right here in front of him, just to show the comparison of how limber and talented they are as compared to Greg, it is one of the funniest visuals I've ever witnessed in my life.
220 is
As he
a
tries
ringer.
to audition here. He
Yeah.
can't even lift his ankle off the ground. Yeah, 220 is a ringer.
Yeah.
I believe both of these ladies right here in front were on the team last year. Oh, we've got some rhythm rocking here, guys.
all right. We'll check back in with you, Jeremy.
You can keep him on screen, but
Yeah.
we're going to do some show here.
I was enjoying that song.
Me too. I was
A
getting
little
into
Lionel
it a
Richie.
little bit.
All right, he's finding a little rhythm now.
I love this. I think there's like what? There's probably less than 5 guys there, right? There's 239. There's 235.
Marlon's
there's
man.
Greg.
Marlon's man.
And Marlins, man, yeah.
Yo, the
Marlon's
show
man is not here.
the show within the show that's happening in my ear from Lewis is so damn distracting. It's like,
You want to share it with us?
I cannot share it. This is highly inappropriate conversation.
Glad you mentioned it.
I'm trying. This is my way of telling him to stop. Basically, let me do the show. Jeremy, we'll check back with you. The images will remain on our screens while we do some more show here. Stugotz, during the break, I saw you come back in from the outside.
Yes.
Presumably from your heater break.
I was in the garage, yep. Not technically not outside. I was inside where it's hotter. Yeah.
I thought you weren't allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
You came in from outside.
I was hiding, yeah.
So anyways, I confess to Stugotz that whenever I see him coming back from outside, there's a bit of me that feels a little FOMO. I wish I was a smoker, because he reminds me of a different time, of like the late 90s when the smoking bans first started happening.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be walking in New York City.
Listening to Wonderwall.
It's listening to Wonderwall. It's freezing outside. And as you walk into a building, you see a group of huddled people shivering with a cigarette to their mouth, because this is before they had the rule that you had to smoke like 300 feet away from the entrance.
Right.
People were right outside that front door like this. And I always thought to myself, what a strong sense of community.
And commitment.
Yes. And I wanted to be a part of that, even if I don't enjoy smoking in and of itself.
You know what? I've heard people of an older generation than me say that bumming a cigarette from someone or going outside to smoke with someone was a great icebreaker and a great way to like kind of meet someone and chat with them without having any pressure. And it's harder to sort of like make those connections with strangers now.
Right, because you have something in common, and what you have in common is that you're killing yourselves.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm not saying that the pros don't outweigh the cons in this scenario, but maybe there is some truth to it. You know, it's like an easy way to bridge the conversation gap with people that you don't know.
Jessica, I'll tell you, one of my great kind of disappointments in life is when someone asks me, hey, can I bum a cigarette, or do you have a light? And I have to say no because I don't smoke, but I can never just say no. I actually like pat my pocket as if I might have had just a spare lighter by some
This
accident.
happened to me 2 days ago at the barbecue contest. Someone says, does anyone have a light? And I was like,
Did you pat your pockets?
I was like, let me check my
Wait,
purse.
so both of you go through the routine knowing you don't have a lighter?
Not only do I go through the routine, Stugotz, I feel bad that I don't have a lighter.
I apologize. I'm sorry, I don't.
I let you down. I really feel like I let them down. It's one of the great disappointments in life.
Really?
I'm telling you. I'll put it up there.
Do you have others? I mean,
a top 5? You want to be a top 5 disappointments in life?
You have that?
I do have that.
Oh my God.
Weirdly, Roy did have a grill lighter in his bag that was several feet long.
You should always have one, yeah.
He just happens to carry it around. Always ready to grill.
Is Greg cracking a sweat, by the way?
I think they all just applauuded after they stretched. They're like, all right, we're done stretching. Woo!
I have not forgotten about your top 5. I am glued to Greg Cote right now.
He's looking at he's out of breath. Oh, man, this is great.
So you're saying not having a lighter when someone asks you for a lighter is one of the biggest disappointments in life?
In life, absolutely. Like, no, obviously,
Weird.
we're not talking about, like, I didn't get the big promotion or whatever. Not like real life events. I'm talking about day-to-day kind of mundane things that makes me feel great disappointment. I could not step up to the plate and hand you the lighter, good smoker, sir.
All right.
So make sure, people, if you want to find out whether Greg made the team or not, we're going to be posting stuff on social the rest of the day because we got to go now. The show's over, and he's still out there as we're looking now. So we will post things. Make sure to listen to Best Back in My Day coming up next on the postgame show.
Greg's doing the secret check his pulse move right now.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
His neck. He's checking his neck pulse.
He's checking his pulse, but he's making it seem like he's just holding his neck.
All right, Stugotz, I got 45 seconds here.
Let's do it.
Top 5. All right, here we go. Top 5 disappointments in life. Number 5, people who discover I work for DraftKings and want gambling advice. I don't have it. I don't know. Number 4, missing a wide open layup after a really good pass from someone on the basketball court. Great disappointment and shame. Number 3, when everyone is excitedly talking about last weekend's college football slate and I have nothing to contribute. I didn't watch.
Buzz though.
Other than Georgia Tech. Yep. Number 2, when being offered cocaine and having to say I don't do coke. I'm always disappointed. I'm like, I don't know why. Like I feel
You're
like
disappointed you don't do cocaine.
yeah, it's like I feel like I let them down. And number 1, and number 1, as I said, when someone asks me for a light and I don't have it.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
And now the Suey nominees for Best Back in My Day. Packing. Unzipping a suitcase to a sea of packing cubes is as dispiriting as opening the fridge to find wall-to-wall Tupperware tubs. It's the illusion of efficiency. Somebody on a get-rich-quick bender invents something we don't need because they know that gullible, trend-gobbling travelers would eat it up. So here come the packing cubes to my doorstep. The only zippered container I want in my suitcase is the old-fashioned friend with the charmingly unfortunate name, the toiletry bag. Packing a suitcase does not not require science or a system, folks. I don't need a cube to organize me or save space. I stuffed 3 pair of underwear in 1 dress shoe and balls of socks and a coiled up belt in the other. I proudly underpack. Nobody packs light like me because nobody cares or knows if I wear the same pair of undies more than once. Nobody on the cruise ship is whispering disparaging, hey, didn't that man over there wear that same dress shirt 4 days earlier? And if I forget my belt, well, I bet those sell in Alaska. And if they don't, it wouldn't be the first time I cinched together 2 belt loops with a piece of twine and walked out of there with a chin-up strut. So here I am, just another lemming sliding to his airport gate with the unwanted convenience of telescoping handles and rolling wheels. You can't even buy the suitcase you want nowadays. I went into a luggage store and asked for a large leather valise with a strap handle. Didn't have it. Carpet bags. He said no. I said, can I get a wooden steamer trunk? Nope, didn't have that either. I can't get the suitcase I wanted. At least let me pack it my way. No cubes allowed. I'm Greg Cote. Yeah. And that's how it was back in my day. Hotel housekeeping. Maid service was a part of the deal. You expected it. You returned to a welcoming, pillowy duvet, a neat stack of fresh towels standing sentry at the ready, the end of the toilet roll folded in a V for no apparent reason whatsoever other than to make me feel cared for. It was that little bit of uncommon luxury. Oh, you'd like an extra shampoo brought to your room? Right away, Mr. Cote. Hey, I'm easy to please. 2 mints on a pillow, and I feel like a doggone king. Now, you feel guilty even asking for housekeeping, like little Lord Fauntleroy demanding a pedicure. Some chains now recommend you leave trash outside your door for pickup. What? Marriott's policy varies by property, but housekeeping is mostly by request now, with rooms cleaned automatically only every 6th night. My hotel room after 6 days unattended would look like a team of frat boys had sardined in during Mardi Gras. In my room after 6 days without maid service, you'd find bedding on the floor, towels scattered like shrapnel, pizza boxes in the bathtub, empty Miller Lite bottles arranged across the room in neat triangles like bowling pins, and a lamp inexplicably in the refrigerator. Hotels, if I'm paying you $429 to sleep in your room for a night, the least you can do, literally, the least you can do is keep that room clean. I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day. Pre-boarding! Hey! Look, I know you get what you pay for. You pay for a first-class ticket, and we folks who don't understand we have to do that walk of shame past the big spenders already quaffing red wine as we slog past slump-shouldered to the 38th row. We will now begin pre-boarding for people traveling with small children, active military with an ID or in uniform, and others who need extra time or assistance. The real loophole is that last part. Others who need extra time or assistance. It's meant for the very elderly, perhaps, but this is where you see all manner of able-bodied solo travelers and people with imaginary anxieties and phobias all boarding for no good reason ahead of the rules-following cattle in the back. Yes, ma'am, I suffer from lavabo trasero syndrome, related to a fear of being seated next to a rear cabin commode. I have a note from Dr. McGillicuddy. On Southwest, with no assigned seating, even if you pay extra to be in Group A, you're still watching the parade of the entitled flow into the cabin ahead of you. Half of any given flight is these pre-board scam artists. The pre-board message might as well just say, anyone who feels they are intrinsically better than other people may board now. Airlines, let your first-class money bags in first. Fine. But don't make we proletariats suffer the added indignity of also waiting behind all of your club members and all those pathological fakers. Run a tighter ship. I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day. Briefcases! If you were carrying a briefcase, you were a man or a woman on a mission, sailing along city streets like the prow of a ship, walking cockshore as Tony Manero in the opening credits of Saturday Night Fever, and surely headed for a boardroom. Other pedestrians parted as you strode past, and in your wake said to themselves with an admiring nod, there goes a professional man. Now someone seen carrying a briefcase is about as common as a man wearing a Lincoln stovepipe or a woman in a Carmen Miranda fruit hat. The briefcase is on the endangered list, headed for extinction. Now all you see are people sloughing slump-shouldered from carrying slovenly backpacks, the very lowest rung on the luggage ladder. The only people who need to carry backpacks are students with textbooks in them, the original intended use, and folks ascending a trail on a hike. Why are you carrying a laptop in a backpack? That's beneath the laptop. Demeaning. Not only the rising scourge of backpacks, soft shoulder bags, and totes have killed the briefcase. The trend to more casual workplace environments has, too. Save that staple of Americana, the briefcase, before it's too late. Enjoy again the delight of that simple sound as those twin latches snap shut and then open to reveal who you are. I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day. Clotheslines! Where'd they go? Gone with the wind. Or rather, the gentle breeze that once caressed our washed garments to a state of sun-kissed dry. The clothesline was nature's clothes dryer, efficient, cost-free, and noise-free, but for the soothing riffle or soft snap of a bedsheet as a mild gust passed by. Nowadays, clothes are thrown into the behemoth maw of the electric dryer in the laundry room, your clothes in a sodden ball, a wet clump as the dryer lumbers to life. With great clatter and racket, the time-consuming dryer spends an hour banging and twisting and high-heating and, over time, shrinking your garments. It's textile torture. Meantime, the sun winks and the breeze tickles in the backyard where the clothesline once stood. Beyond the cost saving and the quiet, mechanical dryers emit greenhouse gas emissions and increase fabric wear and tear. The breeze doesn't. The clothesline also produces no static cling or cloying perfume from fabric softeners, and much less wrinkling as well. Make it a family project. Erect your own clothesline. The air fryer is all the rage. Why not the air dryer, the one waiting for you in the fresh air out back? I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day. Waterbeds. At its peak, almost 25% of all beds sold in America were flotation mattresses. Now it's barely 2%, and most of those are related to medical rehab. What happened? The waterbed was cool once, embraced first by hippies and the free-spirited free love movement before it caught on in the suburbs. Bump, chicka, bump, bump, if you catch my drift. Or to be specific,
it's not a drift anyone wanted.
Baby! Unmistakably, there was a sexual element. Hugh Hefner, in the prime of Playboy, famously had a waterbed. The waterbed boom was starting just as the bump, chicka, bump, bump was dawning in Greg Cote's life.
You made it a game show sound. You made it.
And he tried one out in his friend's off-campus apartment. Hated it. Don't get me wrong, I can sleep on anything. I've slept on a bed of nails. I don't need any bells or whistles.
What?
Don't need a foam memory bed that outlines my body like a victim at a crime scene. Don't need sleep number bed. Certainly don't need a water bed that to me was like trying to fall asleep or do anything else, wink, wink, on a raft in the middle of an ocean. For me, even the squishy, sloshing sound they made was weird. To install one, you had to run a hose into the bedroom. The whole thing was bizarre. This is where I'd usually say, bring back the waterbed. No, don't do it. You go ahead and ride the waves to sleep. I shall repose on the firm, dry land, thank you. I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day. Adultery!
We are back.
Waiting for this one.
Wait. By accident, what just happened? I think that's the record. Roy, for years, has been counting the amount of time that he pregnant pauses there. That was the record because he was looking for his papers. Because he was surprised that he has a back in my day.
I got a lot of papers here. I'm a busy man. Adultery! Okay, let's be honest about something inherently dishonest. Adultery, infidelity, cheating, whatever you want to call it, was so much easier back before technology came along and ruined everything. Or rather, so I'd imagine the clandestine Casanovas would lament. Cheating was easy once. You just had to make sure you weren't doing it around friends, neighbors, or coworkers. So if you lived in Mayberry, the two of you drove up to Mount Pilot, got a corner booth at the bar, then a room at the No-Tell Motel, and called it a night. You were blessedly incommunicado. There were no cell phones allowing any busybody snoop to record or photograph you. You were completely out of touch until you dropped a dime in a payphone. Now, Every text message and voicemail exchange is retrievable. You think delete search history actually does that? Ha ha, your naivete is so cute. Back in my day, you wrote a fake name in the motel guest book. The board clerk said you're in room 9, Dr. McGillicuddy, and you went on your merry way. Now there'd be an unblinking ring camera above the door ratting on you. Modern-day debauchers and Lotharios have only two choices. You either give up your cheating ways, or you hopelessly bemoan technology and understand that today, a smartphone would be pinging your exact location in that dark corner booth as you swig your third Manhattan. I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day. Vegas! I'm going to say it point blank. The old Vegas was better. This used to be an exotic destination with a real mystique because it was the only place in America to legally bet on sport. You felt a little naughty coming here. Daring. I want to ride back to the Vegas of yore when Frank and Dean and Sammy played the smoke-filled Coba room at the Sands. Frank under a sharp-creased fedora, Dino with a scotch in one paw and a lit cigarette in the other, Sammy snapping his fingers even when there was no music. I want an all-you-can-eat buffet for $3.95. Diverticulitis be damned.
Yes.
My own trio, the Hee Haw 3. We played Vegas concurrent with the Rat Pack, but we weren't as big. We were the Zagag Pack, but we had our following. We invented the Vegas residency back then. We were the opening act for a while for Saul Anka, Paul's bitter older brother. I want that Vegas back. The old Vegas with the wood-paneled room where octogenarian women in Dolly Parton wigs swooned to a 960-pound Elvis impersonator who never left his Barco lounger.
Breathe. Yes, hold on. Listen, look, hold on.
This is halftime of the back of my day. Thank you.
Okay, that was.
I was legitimately scared there for a second.
Look.
I want the old school slot machines where all you needed was 3 sevens or cherries and you didn't push a button, you had tactile involvement.
Yes.
Pulling the black ball knob down so that it felt like you were losing money slower. The drive-through chapels. Speaking of marriage, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas used to be true. It was the adulterer's capital. A man could bring his second family here. I never had a problem. That was before smartphones made every guy 2 tables over a potential blackmail photographer. Bring back old sad Vegas. Yes. Bring back the Copa room at the Sands. Eschew the slots button for the black knob and get rid of smartphones and give me back my privacy. I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day.
My life as I know it is about to drastically change forever. And the reason I say that, as many of you know, I'm going to be a father coming up in December to a baby girl, and it's crazy, and I can't believe it. And a lot of my life is going to change, but there's one thing in my life that's going to be constant. And since 1975, this original light beer has been a constant, a mainstay for the entire planet. And it's going to continue to be a mainstay for me. It's Miller Lite. They keep it simple, undebatable quality, great taste, only 96 calories. It's the beer that strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most. It's a light beer that actually tastes like beer. You don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling, and it tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. I will when my daughter's born with a tall, cold glass of Miller Lite. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.